of Saline County, western portions of Pulaski County. So any of you tailgaters that are out there at War Memorial Stadium that might be camping overnight, you have a little bit of time right now to do any last minute securing of your tailgating materials, because we have been seeing some gusty winds move through with these storms. Speaking of those gusty winds, we're going to take a look at our live winds product here, so to kind of give you an idea of where we're picking up on some of these winds in Saline County, again near that Saline and Pulaski County border. We're going to query this to kind of give you an idea of those wind speeds. If you would give me 1 second. Wind speeds of around 40 to 50 miles an hour around that Pulaski Saline County border. At the strongest, we've seen some wind gusts of up to 50 miles an hour closer towards Pike County, down into portions of Clark County, but closer to the Little Rock Metro. Those storms, again, when you look on your reflectivity product, we are seeing a little bit of lightning closing in on that Saline Pulaski County border. Right now, storms in that neighborhood capable of producing those 40 miles an hour wind gusts. The strongest storms right now are going to stay across southern Arkansas. I'm actually going to take this forward to kind of give you a perspective of where that cold front is, because if you've been following along with all of our evening newscasts, we've been telling you the best potential for any of those strong to severe storms is going to stay south or ahead of where that frontal boundary is. That frontal boundary, you can help pick up where it is based off those dew points. It's dragging through portions of Mena and Arkadelphia into Monticello. Areas north of that, we're seeing those dew points dropping off to the 50s. We're ahead of that, dew points still in those upper 60s, even up to the middle 70s for Union County, extremely further south. So the best opportunity for any strong to severe storms is going to stay across those southern 1 to 2 rows of counties, but closer to the Little Rock Metro. You might hear a little thunder that'll wake you up if you aren't already up watching us. Maybe the kids might hear that thunder to wake them up again. Through the next couple hours or so, these storms will be moving through central Arkansas, producing some gusty winds. And again, for those tailgaters that are out there at War Memorial, this is a good time before those storms actually make it into central Arkansas or make it into the city of Little Rock, to make sure everything is secure as we start to pick up on those gusty winds. I showed you kind of those dew points to help you get an idea of where the front is. We've been talking about how these storms have the potential of producing some gusty winds and some hail. There is also a minor flooding component with this for some of east central Arkansas areas, primarily south and east of the Little Rock Metro, included in this marginal flood risk. This is just through sunrise tomorrow. Some of those storms, as they've been moving through southwest Arkansas, have been producing some heavy downpours. These storms have also been moving fairly slowly, which is why there is a bit of a flooding concern. Right now, our only flood alert is also currently active in southwest Arkansas. We have a flash flood warning in effect for our extreme southwestern counties until 2:15. It looks like that severe thunderstorm warning that was in effect to our south has been allowed to expire. So right now, if you're just now joining us, the only activity we have going on across the state are non-severe thunderstorms. At most, you might hear a little thunder that might give you a little bumpy evening for the next couple of hours, but not much of a concern for severe weather closer to the Little Rock Metro. At this point, all of the ingredients for any severe warning storm are going to stay to the southern 2 rows of counties, and that's thanks to the fact that cold front is moving through a little bit quicker than we initially thought it would. That front already closing in on that southern row of counties where we're seeing those dew points hanging out in the upper 60s and lower 70s. Areas north of that with that drier air could still see some rain, obviously, as you've seen, but doesn't have as much of the instability or the moisture there to give us some of that hail and some of those wind gusts excessive of 60 miles an hour. We walked through that flooding risk. Let's kind of walk through what radar could look like through the rest of the night into the start of your Saturday. So right now, this is where we're looking at those storms closing in on the Little Rock Metro as we continue through the next couple hours. losing a lot of their steam. You see north of that I-40 line. I think south of that line along those southern rows of counties, we could still see those storms maintaining a bit of their strength where we can't rule out a severe thunderstorm warning or two. Some of north central Arkansas may still see the impacts of a thunderstorm that might get a special weather statement tag, but the opportunity of a severe thunderstorm is going to stay across southern Arkansas. Through 6 o'clock at the time of our THV 11 morning news on Saturday, thunderstorms are staying north into northwest Arkansas into southeastern Arkansas. Here in the Little Rock Metro, likely going to be some rain showers continuing. That'll start to taper off through the morning into the middle part of your day. This is around noon. Looking to see most of the rain out of the state at this point. The cloud cover expecting to continue to funnel out by 4 o'clock, which again is kickoff for that big game. That big game, again, the Arkansas State Red Wolves versus the University of Arkansas Razorbacks here at War Memorial. This game and all of the tailgaters that are probably already at War Memorial is why we've decided to do this stream this evening, just to again give you that heads up that we've been talking about it through the past couple of days, but those storms that we mentioned that will impact you overnight are going to start to approach over the next 30 minutes to an hour. The good news is the overall concern of severe weather is going to stay mainly south of the Little Rock Metro at this point, mainly across our southernmost counties in the state, but we could still see again some of those gusty winds we've seen so far with some of these special weather statements. Pea-sized hail, that's been a possibility as well. We're going to take this back to our radar to just see what's going on out there as these storms get closer to central Arkansas and the Little Rock Metro. Again, if you're just now joining us, the great news is no active severe warnings right now. There was a flash flood warning in extreme southwestern Arkansas, but closer to home in central Arkansas, just some storms that might be a little noisy out there with some thunder and lightning, but nothing to be concerned with. We've seen thunderstorms before here in Arkansas, so this is definitely something we can get through for the evening. But I know those people that have been so excited for the game that might be outdoors at War Memorial, this is kind of your heads up to make sure you're staying weather aware and you're staying safe. I've mentioned some of these storms have been producing hail. When we look at hail across the state, good news is not much hail right now. A little bit of a hail signature down in Ouachita County, the extreme southern Ouachita County, south of the city of Camden, primarily south of that Highway 79. This is about pea-sized hail. Right now, that's pretty much the only hail we're seeing being produced in the state. And again, those wind gusts right now peaking around 40 to 50 miles an hour. Nothing strong enough to prompt any severe thunderstorm warnings. But again, we have been seeing some of those special weather statement tags. The National Weather Service at 1 a.m. gave an update. Storm rolling through Arkadelphia, which at this point we see is moving through portions of Ouachita County. That's the storm that we just saw is producing that pea-sized hail. When it moved through Arkadelphia, it was producing 37-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So again, kind of in that neighborhood of 40 to 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Otherwise, neighbors in southeast Arkansas, you're still dry right now, but before sunrise, you're likely going to pick up on some storms in this part of the state, taking things a little bit farther north of that I-40 line. Spotty coverage, really, the greatest coverage is kind of along that I-40 line, kind of into that I-30 corridor, but some of north central Arkansas, portions of Independence County into Cleburne County into Van Buren County picking up on some of that rain coverage. Faulkner County picking up on a thunderstorm that's at least strong enough to be producing some lightning almost right over Greenbrier and Highway 65. Otherwise, right now in the capital city, not quite raining yet. Those storms getting closer. We've got some storms out in western Pulaski County. Seems like they're weak storms right now because we don't even have much of a lightning signature. Again, the strongest storms through the rest of the morning are expected to stay across our southernmost 2, maybe even 3 rows of counties. Some of Hot Spring County right now picking up on a thunderstorm that has been producing a little bit of lightning, but otherwise we don't have any active severe thunderstorm warnings in the state right now. And again, as this cold front we've been talking about continues to push south, we'll see the threat of any severe thunderstorms continue to dwindle. That front right now centered, that axis kind of draped through portions of DeQueen, Arkansas, down into Camden, and probably just north of the city of Monticello. You can see the difference in those dew points based off of where we felt the effects of the cold front and where that's still yet to be seen. Dew points still in the upper 60s and lower 70s across extreme southern Arkansas, where we still have that instability and that fuel to produce a rowdy storm or two. Closer to central Arkansas and the Little Rock Metro, we're starting to feel that drier air take over. There is that minor flooding component with this just because these storms have been moving slowly. They have been producing, in some of those stronger storms, 1 to 2 inches of rainfall per hour. So as these storms move further east, locations like Pine Bluff into Monticello, you haven't seen the rain yet, but you have the opportunity to before sunrise, and you'll likely have the opportunity for some heavy rain at that. We're going to one more time walk through what's expected over the next couple hours. So between now and 3 o'clock, we're going to see more of those storms kind of centering themselves over central Arkansas. So over the next, like I say, 30 minutes to an hour, if you are somebody in the capital city that's camped out at War Memorial Stadium and you haven't already secured your tailgating supplies, if you can hear the sound of my voice, go ahead and take care of that, because over the next couple hours, we are going to see those gusty winds moving through as these storms move through. Now by 6 o'clock, when we're waking up for your THV 11 morning news on Saturday, heaviest storms moving out to our southeast, starting to exit the state. Still a few thunderstorms into north central Arkansas, but across the Little Rock Metro, mainly rain showers that'll be tapering off through the middle part of the day. So by middle day, when we're really getting into the groove of tailgating, good news is not looking to see much rain at that point. And then by your kickoff, looking to see less clouds than sun. Definitely some quieter conditions than how we will start the day. So otherwise, there is not much else to report this morning. We just are going to keep an eye on this radar. If anything changes, I'm here hanging out with you all through the evening, but really not much other than some ruckus outside. We've dealt with that before in central Arkansas, so nothing to be too concerned about. But as we continue through the evening or through the night, meteorologist Tracy Bean will be waking up with you at 6 a.m. for your morning news. So she'll be here not too long to kind of exchange shifts, and we'll be having those updates. If we do happen to get any severe thunderstorm warnings for any of our counties between now and then, we'll hop back on for this stream to just give you updates about that. But right now, strongest storms are kind of south of that I-30 axis, really along those southern 2 rows of counties down from Camden to Magnolia, Arkansas. That's where we're seeing some of the heaviest concentration of lightning, which is often an indicator of a strong thunderstorm. As you move farther north, we are still seeing lightning in places up to Perryville and Russellville and even just north of Conway, but lightning not as concentrated as it is in those southern storms, which is indicating those storms have a little bit of strength to them, but maybe not quite as strong as those southernmost storms. So again, if you're in Little Rock, you might be starting to feel some rain showers depending on where you are in the city. But as far as any thunder or lightning right now, that's still off to our west. This will be changing over the next half an hour to an hour, so make sure you're staying weather aware. Again, the good news is the threat of severe weather is going to be staying low this evening. At most, some gusty winds, some thunder and lightning that might cause a ruckus, and those gusty winds. There has been another special weather statement issued for portions of Ouachita, Cleveland, Dallas, Calhoun, and Bradley counties. So this line of storms that we're following right now, that's draped through portions of Camden down to Magnolia, what we were just looking at, as this continues pushing east, this has that special weather statement tag through 2:30. So for the next hour, this line of storms is moving at 35 miles an hour, so it's moving pretty slow, picking up wind gusts at 40 miles an hour, half-inch size hail. So as that continues over the next hour, some of our neighbors in the southeast Arkansas starting to pick up on some of that rain and some of that noise outside. Otherwise, not much happening closer to home. We don't have any active special weather statements closer to home. We're keeping those stronger storms to our south. Again, all of this, as that cold front we've been talking about is pushing further south, it's draped through those southernmost counties right now, as you can see with the difference in those dew points as that front continues pushing its way out of the state. Saturday afternoon looking to be a lot cooler than what we saw Friday afternoon. Friday we got up to the lower 90s. Saturday looking to stay in the lower 70s in the afternoon. Now the next couple days will slightly get warmer, but definitely cooler than what we've seen the past couple days, and that's thanks again to this cold front. So we're going to take this back to our radar page, and we're going to hang out here for the next couple of minutes before we send you off, because there's not much else to report here this evening. Luckily, we haven't had any storm reports coming out of the state. Again, we've been having a good job of preparing you all for the past couple of days, I hope, for these storms. The good news is the threat in Little Rock is a little bit lower than it is for our neighbors to the south. So hopefully that's not as disruptive for any of those tailgaters that have already got a head start to celebrate the Razorback and Red Wolves game. Again, the latest special weather statement tag just came out at 1:30. It's in effect until 2:30 for portions of Ouachita, Cleveland, Dallas, Calhoun, and Bradley counties. That's for half-inch size hail and 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Closer to home, in the Little Rock metro, we do have some thunderstorms along that Saline County, Pulaski County border that's producing a little bit of lightning, but really not as strong as those storms that we're tracking to our south and in the capital city right now. Just picking up on some rain showers. I think over the next half hour to an hour, we could start to hear some thunder and see some lightning as those storms actually start to move through the city. But again, they're losing a lot of their steam this farther north. The best opportunity for any juicy storms is going to stay further south of that I-40 axis and mainly along those southern two rows of counties just south of the city of Camden, and southern Ouachita County is where we're seeing, the strongest storm right now, producing the most lightning, and again, it's producing those 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts. But other than that, it is almost time for us to wrap this up. Just wanted to give you a quick heads up again for those people that might be out and about on this Friday night into a Saturday morning. It is starting to get rainy out there in the capital city, but the overall threat of any strong to severe storms is going to primarily stay to our south across those southern two rows of counties. If this changes, if we get any updated warnings between now and the start of our morning show, I'll be back with another update. In the meantime, hopefully I didn't disturb you all, and I hope you have a good rest of your night.